Westcoast Johnny. I'm glad you're here. I want you to see my exclusive interview with Gregg Valentino. If you don't know who Gregg Valentino is, well, he has a lot of nicknames. The Ramblin' Freak, the man with the biggest arms in the world, the man whose arms exploded, the most controversial man in bodybuilding, the most hated man in bodybuilding. Call him whatever you want. He is a very integral part of this nation's, he's woven into the fabric of the culture of bodybuilding in this country, and he's here to stay. So I call him friend, and one of our national treasures, Gregg Valentino. So it is a long interview. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, there's timestamps. Like if you want to just jump to where he was playing football in high school, jump to the bully beating him up, jump to the serial killer that tried to get him in the car, you can do that. But stick around till the end, because there's a special Gregg Valentino Guido dance. And at the very end, there's going to be a little thing on the video that shows where you can get a Gregg Valentino t-shirt. Well, Gregg, what I wanted to talk to you. First of all,
you can ask whatever you want to say.
I'm super happy to have you on my channel. I've never had anybody, and said if I could have picked one person on the planet, it would have been you. And here you are.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you, Johnny. And I appreciate all your support, and you've done a lot. So I appreciate that. Believe me, I do. I love the background of your gym there, by the way.
Oh, thank you. It's a recreation. Awesome. It's a recreation of Vince's gym.
Yeah, I see some old school equipment there, which I really like. Is that a Jubinville? We're recording, right?
Yep.
Good. I see. Is that a Jubinville bench right behind you, the red one? At Jubinville, Jubinville equipment. You remember Jubinville?
Oh, that is a Scott curl bench. You talking about it looks like a big thing?
No, not that one. The one over your other shoulder. It's a chair. It looks like a chair with a.
That's an old chair. That chair weighs like 50 pounds. I can't even pick it up.
I think that's a Jubinville. Do you remember Ed Jubinville?
I do.
Equipment. He used to have a catalog where it showed an elephant standing on his bench because he made that. I had some of that stuff. And you know who Brian Moss is, right? You remember Brian Moss? He owned Better Bodies. He was Gladys Portuguese.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. He has a whole gym of Jubinville stuff, old school stuff, like that bench I see in the background. Where the chair is, right underneath Vince Gironda. Is that a bench?
No, you know what that is? That's an old-fashioned Smith machine. And then what do you see?
Oh shit! I see the Smith part. I didn't see the Smith part. Yes.
Yeah. And then there's a wooden bench. That wooden bench is actually from Vince's gym.
Wow.
And then I have two benches from Vince's gym.
Wow.
And Steve Davis? Remember Steve Davis?
Of course I know Steve. Yes.
So he was on a Rick Drayson's show.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know, 5 years ago. And he said Vince didn't have the leg machine kind of equipment in his gym. So I wrote to him the next day. I said, "Hey, how you doing, Mr. Davis?" I said, actually he did. He had this giant machine, and I actually have it. And it's the very first Nautilus cam machine ever designed and built.
Right.
Okay. So then Arthur Jones, was friends with Vince, and he would see that. But I remember Steve Davis saying, I said, I have a whole bunch of his equipment. And he just sent me his phone number. Call me. And I was so nervous, I didn't call him for like 2 weeks. And then when I called him, I said, "Hey, Mr. Davis, hi, my name's John Kunkel. We talked, He goes, "If this is a crank call." I said, No, it's not. And then when he realized who I was, he goes, "Oh, yeah." And he said, those benches, when the Santa Monica Pier caught on fire,
right?
Dave Draper was a lumber, he built custom tables and all this weird big furniture. He lived up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And those benches came from the wood of the Santa Monica fire built by Dave Draper. I mean, according to Mr. Davis.
Wow. That's crazy. I love stuff like that, though. I worked out on old wood stuff, and I even have a bench. Wait, I don't know if I could actually pick it up and show you. Hold on. Stay there.
Sure.
This is, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right? Now,
yes.
I don't know if you can see this. I took all the pads off from my hands. Okay.
Jeez.
And this is a Can you see? Look, right? Like
Oh,
this.
wow. Look at
Now,
that.
this is a bench I bought in 1972. Let me just put it back. Hold on. I actually
it's really cool that you still have it.
I bought that bench in 1972. It's a piece of shit. Bought it like in like Caldors or whatever. But I just used it an hour ago. I do bench dips like this on there.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
And it's so worn off that you can see where the pads are worn off. But I
Oh,
just need the wood part for my hands.
sure.
But I have all old. I have a lot of Ferrigno plates and stuff from Matt Ferrigno, who gave me a lot of stuff. I got attachments but they don't make that stuff today like
No.
back in the old days.
Right, right.
I
I don't know
just
if you
can
can.
show you that.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Thank you. That's really, really cool. And I know that's pretty much when you started working out, age 12,
Yes. Yes.
1972. And I
1972.
know, I did a lot of research over the years, and I remember you saying that you were like a hyper responder, and a
Yes.
lot of people aren't. And you would use these like plastic weights, that you'd get, and you would
Still
do,
have. Still
yeah,
have it.
and you would just do set after set after set after set.
Yes. John, I was a naturally built kid. I remember I always tell the story like I was in sixth grade and I had like I was taking my shirt off for gym class, right? And I had all like little, I guess my back had little muscles on it because I remember a kid going, "You got like these little apples and golf balls on your back," and I was like, "No, I don't." Like I was like, "What?" But what he was trying to tell me was I had muscles on my back. That wasn't big. I was not big at all. On the contrary, I was thin. I was maybe 115 pounds or something like that. I was like thin, but I was like one of these black kids that you see that has natural genetics. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Had like
Yeah.
tiny waist with all abs, and I had the pecs and the little delts, but they weren't big. But the minute I started training, they just responded instantly.
And
So
you had a 26-inch waist,
26-inch
and
waist.
you had your arms at 21 inches naturally after working out for almost 25 years naturally, right?
Yup. I just wore. Wait a minute, Lucia. I'm going to show you. I was just in Alabama, right? You saw. I was in
Oh
Alabama.
yeah, that was great.
Right?
Yes.
I'll show you the pants, the waist. I just was wearing. Now this is me now, old. I'm 64, right? I had surgery. The pants I was wearing out there, it's 30-inch waist, right? That's now 30-inch, and I'm like 190 right now. But I was 170 something back then because I was sick. But I still wear those pants right now, and it's
Wow.
30-inch waist. Now,
Wow.
if I'm not dieted down, if I was to diet down and go for a show, I don't know if I can get to 26, but I bet you can get to 27. I mean,
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
really narrow hips. And
Yeah.
that's why, like, if you see pictures of my legs look really freaky. They're not, they're freaky because of the structure. You know what I mean? The
Right.
tiny waist makes them look like, holy shit,
Right. And
But,
you had a lot of red. You have a lot of red fibers.
oh, yes, I'm loaded. I'm all red fiber, man. I respond. I'm old school trained. Do you remember like even in I used to have these books we sold. Lucia had sold all my crap. The three more reps and all that stuff. And if you remember, it was put out by George Snyder. Three more reps.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, the first one showed Mike Mentzer, like on a bench with the big dumbbells like this. He was on a bench like that.
Right.
It was like 3 volumes of that. And they used to talk about the training of all the pros. And back then, in the 70s, guys used to train each body part 3 times a week, if you remember correctly. That was
Right.
the big thing. And most guys did high volume, like even Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger always tells a story about how he trained with he did arms one time with Sergio Oliva. And he did like almost 40 sets or whatever. And Sergio says, "Man, I'm shot. I'm gonna go in and take a shower." And Arnold says, "All right, I'll see you in the locker room in a bit." He goes, "I got another 10 sets to do."
Wow.
So they
Yeah.
used to do, back then, a lot of volume training. Like today, everything is overtraining, but I don't believe in that. I just believe in under recuperation.
That's true. Yeah, I heard you say that. Rich Piana used to say that. He said, "You can never." He says, "You could always do more when you're in the
Right.
gym. You could always do more."
Well,
But
Johnny, practice makes perfect. If you wanted to learn how to play the guitar, the more you play the guitar, the better you get. You know what I mean?
sure.
Now, I know that you have to recuperate because you grow when you recuperate, when you're home and eating and relaxing, sleeping. You don't grow when you're in the gym. But if you stimulate that growth to, every time you're in the gym, you're going to grow more. So that's just my philosophy, but
Sure,
I
sure.
like a volume training. I grew up idolizing John DeVendis, who was another teenage bodybuilder, and we used to talk to each other. And he was like a year older than me when we were teenagers. And he did that, the intensity or insanity, which, he would do 100 sets and insane
Wow.
amounts. So I
Yeah.
like that kind of training. So,
Yeah, that's great. And I know that, let's see, you played football,
yes,
and your class is 79
yes,
at your high school,
yes,
Yorktown High, and you were number
yes,
53.
yes.
And there's a
Yes.
picture of you, and you're maybe 18, and you could see the helmet like behind you, like you were in your bedroom or something.
Yes,
And you were
all that.
just,
That's the truth. That's my high school football helmet with a black and white TV on the stand, if you notice.
I
And
saw
there's
that. Yeah.
also one where there's a Boston poster from the band Boston, because I used to like that band growing up.
Yeah,
It was my favorite band, that and Ozzy, Black Sabbath. But the thing is, I had that high school helmet in the picture. People don't realize that's how young I was, but I was really built. Like
yeah,
that went to high school with me would even tell you, like, this guy, I look like little Arnold Schwarzenegger walking around, and I was natural.
for sure.
You were bodybuilding back then, right?
I got into it in my 20s. I got kind of big, and then I had like 3 kids and a little apartment. My wife was in school at the time, and I didn't have any time to go to the gym. I know that doesn't sound. Plus, back then, when there was no internet or
Right.
anything, it was harder to learn like about things about like just like what's that word? Hypertrophy. I didn't
Right.
even know what that word was till like 10 years ago.
Well, John, you remember reading the magazines back then.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
never heard about steroids. The word steroids, I never heard of until like 1980, 81, or, and then when I went I was out in Gold's Gym. I didn't even know what steroids were. I had a friend who was a natural bodybuilder who was actually Dave Palumbo's first trainer. His name was Peter
Wow.
Neff. And
Wow.
Peter Neff won the Junior USA as a natural bodybuilder in the NPC. But he used to tell me I'm natural, and I worked out with him and everything. And I thought he meant he was a vegan. I didn't know what natural meant.
Sure, sure.
Because I hadn't taken steroids, but we never knew because Joe Weider wanted bodybuilding in the Olympics. So he didn't want to talk about, he didn't, no talk about steroids in the magazines. No, we
Mhm.
don't talk about that.
Right.
And that's why I never heard of steroids, back then that wasn't a thing. I mean, it was at the pro level, these big top guys. But it's funny because if you look at Arnold, when Arnold won like the NABBA Mr Universe and all that, you'd see him standing there with a few guys standing on a podium, but the guys in the back behind him, right? The line, the black and white. Watch, they
Mhm.
all look like swimmers. They all look, they had the little number. They didn't look like some of them didn't even look like they lifted weights. They had just a natural, like swimmers type build.
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
If you look again, go back in like the 1960s and stuff and look at those guys standing behind Schwarzenegger when he was on the podium and they were, when they had the winners, Arnold, maybe,
Yep.
it was just weird like that.
Well,
But
I know that. When you were in, I think you went to California 1981, and then you went back in 1983, and you
right.
were beating people on stage, and you didn't even know they were on steroids, and you
Right.
beat a guy named Andy Lopadope from Long Island, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know Andy Lopadote actually competed against um Lee Haney for the Teenage America, and Lee Haney was natural. He
Wow.
didn't even know about steroids, and he said he remembers looking at Andy, and he was like, "Oh my God, this guy's got like almost like he had sand underneath his skin. He was so hard, and he was super jacked." He was bigger than Haney, but Haney had that structure. And Haney said, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to beat him. He said, Andy was not a good poser. You know what I'm saying? But his musculature was he was like so much more massive, and that's actually how Lee Haney, this Lee Haney told me this shit. Lee Haney was here at my house for 3 days.
Yeah, he was eating at the table, right?
Yes,
You're
yes.
feeding him. Yeah.
Yeah, the spaghetti and meatballs.
And then Lee Priest did the same thing 30 years later.
Yeah, it wasn't really.
No, I know. I know
that, right?
that was
People think I have frozen pasta in my, and I don't care if you froze it, even that's almost 40 years ago, whatever.
sure.
There's no way.
I know. And then now, so all you need is Lee Labrada to come over. Like you said, have all three Lees would have been right here.
No, Lee Labrada was here. Lee Labrada was here.
No, I'm sorry. Lee, which one wasn't here? Lee Haney.
Lee Priest, Lee Haney, and Lee Labrada were all here.
Oh, I didn't know they were all there.
Lee Labrada was here 2 weeks before the '88 Olympia. He had guest posed at a show that I was promoting, so he was here at my house, right? And I remember he was dying because it was the Olympia coming 2 weeks, the LA Olympia in 1988. And he was at the time I don't think he was married to Robin yet, but she was with him, right? Robin, his wife, the mother of his son. And I remember he was peeling egg whites and he was eating just egg whites. And once in a while he'd have a little bit of rice. And we were all eating we were all having all kinds of burgers, fries. His wife was eating all that stuff, and he was complaining a little bit, like, oh my God, this is killing me. And she said to him, I don't want to hear it. You chose to do this. You don't have to do this. You chose to do this. So do what you got to do. You know what I mean? But because, she wasn't about to sit and have boiled eggs and hard boiled eggs and just eat I remember that. It was funny, but he was a great guy. I love Lee Labrada. But he was here too. So I had all three Lees here.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know that your diet when you were like a teenager, I know you used to go fishing sometimes. I have some notes. You would catch these fish called sunnies.
Yeah.
And you'd be down by Sheep's Head Bay, Rye, Play, Bland, Wolf.
Yes.
And then you would catch a flounder, and you'd get these little 6-inch fish, go home and fry them up.
Yeah, we would fry up sunny. We were crazy, me and my friend. We would cut them. He owns the gym I trained. We'd have fish this big. We would cut them, the heads off and fry them and eat them. I couldn't even do that now. I'm a totally different, I can't even, I don't want to fish and kill a fish.
You know what? You're like me. I haven't fished in 30 years, but I know that if I go catch a fish, I don't care if it's the biggest one in the lake, I'm going to throw him back in. I'm not going to take his life because I'm hungry or he's big and I want to put him on the wall. I don't care. I just throw him back in.
I can't do it anymore. I don't know what happened to me, but I just can't do it. Just like I couldn't. Let me tell you something. I don't know how people raise a chicken or a cow or a pig and then they slaughter it and eat it. If I saw on a plate, that's the cow I raised, or that's the chicken I fed every day and it was running around the yard and all that stuff. And now here he is dead on my plate. I'm going to eat it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Even now, right? My girlfriend eats chicken legs, she'll eat the chicken legs, chicken wings. I can't because there's little muscles on it. So I don't I'm not a big fan of chicken anyway, but I can't, when I eat a steak, to me, it's a steak. If I know it's a dead piece of dead cow, but I don't think about that because if I thought about it, I'd never eat it. I don't know why.
Me too.
I don't like the idea that I'm sitting there eating a dead animal. I don't think about it. I just think, okay, that's a steak. I don't think about this was once the shoulder of an animal walking around or or whatever it is,
And I know you ate a lot of Italian food growing up because your mother's side was Northern Italian.
Right, Genoa.
Yeah, that's great. And I know that when you were dieting, when you were younger, you'd eat diet Jello, oats, salad, stuff like that. A lot of microwave chicken.
Oh, yeah, you did your homework. Holy shit, how you know?
Well,
most people don't. My friends don't even notice. Yes, I ate diet Jello for when I was a natural bodybuilder. Ate a lot of diet Jello before, just to give something sweet because there's nothing in it.
Yeah.
I would drink diet soda too, but not as much. Just mostly diet Jello. I ate the oats. Yeah, and you know what's worse? You know what the thing is I did back then? I'm stupid. I used to. This made me really. This is why when I say to you, I'm not really a big fan of chicken. Because I used to get chicken breast and I have to eat that all the time, and I would microwave it. And do you know what microwave? If you took a chicken breast and you microwave that,
yeah.
But that's how I ate it back then. I didn't think boil it or broil it or whatever.
Sure.
Cook on a grilled chicken. I in my brain that wasn't good. I just had to microwave it, with nothing on it, just chicken, no marinade, nothing, no nothing. It was just, and it was like eating.
Yeah, dry and stuff. So when you were 12 or 13 and you were working out, you had you used a thing called the crusher, and then you had a bullworker.
The bullworker.
And you would sometimes go behind your head and you do that for triceps.
Yes. I remember it one time snapped and hit me in the head, and woof, that hurt. But I used to take it, and my parents would, when I was a boy, they would take us on vacation. And, my parents would be like, oh, let's go do this, let's go do that. And I didn't want to do it. So sometimes I would say I have to go to the bathroom, or I'd go in they had a closet, like when we'd be sleeping in a room, and I would go into the closet and I'd be curling with the springs,
Yeah.
and I'd be doing behind the head and all this stuff. And I would be doing a chest expander, and I'd be doing all that stuff just because I had to work out. My parents didn't want, my parents were like, you can't miss a day, and I was like, no. So, they had all these plans to do stuff. So I'd have to, while they were sleeping, I'd either be in a closet or I'd go in the bathroom,
Yeah, get their workout in.
I had to go do something,
And then I also read once that if you liked a particular exercise, maybe 2 or 3 of them, you would just do them for like 45 minutes straight.
John, I still do that to this day. To this day. Now, tomorrow, I'm a creature of habit. Like, for instance, let me tell you when I say I'm a creature of habit. I owned a gym, and I had, we actually had the Ferrigno dumbbells that I bought from Matt Ferrigno. But I had 3 sets of every dumbbell because I owned a monster gym, it was a big gym. So I had 3 sets of 10s, 3 sets of 15s, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, all the way up. And I used to curl with these 55-pound dumbbells, right? And now I had 3 sets of the exact same dumbbell. They were plate welded, right? With the plates on each side,
Yeah.
And then they had the handle with the knurls on it. They were Ferrigno, exact. But I had one dumbbell that I would use for the concert. Like I used to use that 55-pound dumbbell for the concentration curl. It would actually, I used to use it so much that the knurls were worn in from my hand. Wow. Now listen to this. If I walked in the gym, and let's say you were using those 55-pound dumbbells, there's 2 other sets of 55-pound dumbbells, the exact dumbbells on the rack. But the one that I used to use for curling, you might have been using for fly, whatever. I would say to you, excuse me, could I swap this 55 for that one in your hand? And people would be like, they're the same dumbbell. Sure, I don't care. And I'd say, I know this sounds nuts, but that's the one I use I need that one. I can't, even though they're the exact same, I can't use its mate.
Sure.
The other one. I was nuts like that. Like, it's like, I'm like eccentric like that. So even to this day, tomorrow and I do the same body parts. I only go to the gym twice a week, really. I go on Saturdays and on Monday nights. That's why Dave Palumbo always makes jokes. Oh, you're out there 2 a.m. But during the day on Saturday, I go during the day, and I do like for my lats, I do like a where you lay on a bench, like a bench row. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yes.
Where you're laying, with the benches, you're like this, and you're on, it's almost like a T-bar row type thing, but you're laying on a pad, and I'm on there. I'm on there for at least 45 minutes, right? And then I'll go to like lat pull downs, and then I do like almost 20 sets of those, but I do them standing. I'd have to show you. I'll do a little video and I'll show you. People in the gym freak out. They're like, dude, do you do any other? Because when they come on Saturday, they only see me on Saturdays because Monday I train late at night. So they're like, I only see you do this body part, like, and you're on that machine. How many sets do you do? It's because I can actually get a pump and keep it. I can keep a pump for over an hour. You know what I mean? Easily. An hour and a half. If I'm doing, and for me, if I'm pumped and I'm keeping that pump, why stop? That's the right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So I just keep going, and I can keep, maybe it's a genetic thing. I'm 64, but I can still keep that pump. So in my brain, you're still getting pumped. I'm even getting more pumped. Here I am. I just did all these sets. I do more than a set a minute. So if I'm on it for 45 minutes, I do like 90 sets. I know that sounds insane. Okay. But it's the way I've always trained. And I can keep that pump that whole time. I never lose a pump. And I do it intense. I do it with low rest, low rest periods. Because
just 10 seconds or so between.
Yeah. It's insane. People that know me have been around, they're so used to it, but they'll tell you this guy's great, because I'm on the same machine. How can you do literally like 90 sets of one exercise and you keep the pump? That's not normal. And I would never tell you to do that. If I was training somebody or helping somebody, I tell them, don't do what I do. I've developed myself this way. It's my own brain. You know what I'm saying? If I
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to do 100 sets and I did only 99, the next day I can't live with myself. I'm like, you punk, you couldn't do that extra set.
Sure.
That's it. That's in the brain. I know it, but that's just the way I am. I'm a little bit out there, you know?
And I know that, yeah, yeah. That's great though. I know that let's see. Uh well, I know you were doing like Wednesday and Saturday you would do legs. This is when you were younger, around
Yes.
1980. You'd have Sunday off. Monday, Thursday would be chest, back, and shoulders. Tuesday and Friday would be biceps and triceps.
You got that, boy. You got that right, dead on. Yes, you're right.
Okay, okay.
And I did that for, oh my God, 35 years. What, remember, I'm older now, so I don't, I only do each body part. I don't even really train certain body parts. Like I don't train my shoulders anymore. I really don't train my triceps much. I do a little bit bench, not with weights. I don't do it with weights because I don't, I mean, if you see me, like if you saw me right now and, with my shirt off and I was posing, you'd be like, holy shit. But it's because, I need, I'm resting more, but when I do hit it, I hit it hard,
Yeah, yeah.
I can't hit it as frequent as I used to because I can't,
Sure.
I'm shot, it's as you get older, you got to worry about it. Just like, that's why I'm not on steroids.
Right.
I do HRT with a doctor though, you know what I
Sure,
mean?
sure,
And that's
sure.
because I destroyed my testosterone by taking a lot of steroids.
Yeah.
But but I'm not on, like I don't take like anything, other than HRT, and I do that once every 10 days. But because I'm afraid. I still have an older man's heart, you know what I mean?
Sure, sure.
You don't
Right.
want to overdo it.
No.
TRT is one thing, taking steroids to grow. I don't notice anything muscle-wise when I'm on TRT. Okay, the only thing I notice is that it helps me, keeps the sex drive. My girlfriend's a horny bitch, so I'm always, we're always doing hibbity dibbity. But so it keeps the sex drive active. It definitely helps with the joints. I don't get sore joints, knock on wood, you know what I mean? I don't, I feel better. When I'm not on
Mhm.
it, I don't feel as good as I do when I'm
Sure.
on it. But body-wise, it's not enough to really do anything for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I heard oh, what was his name? The Swedish bodybuilder. He's
Swedish.
he's bald headed and he has a beard and he's really big. Oh, Andreas Cahling.
Andreas Cahling. Oh my God, I
Cahling.
was saying
Yeah,
it
you had a great story. Like you would like knock on the shower door and you go, yes, yes, and you go down the stairs.
No, what
Like when you
happened
were at the
was
gym.
in Gold's Gym back in the day, I don't know about now, but back in the day, they had there's a bottom level, and then upstairs would be the locker rooms, but you'd have to go up 2 flights of steps like this. And on the first flight, they had a tanning bed. So any of you guys watching this, if you've been to the old school Gold's Gym, you know what I'm talking about. Back in like 81, I was there at the end of 80, 81, 82 was my real time there into 83. So I would go and I would tan. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Those bulbs sucked. If I laid in there an hour, and I swear to God, it would be like laying under a fluorescent bulb. I got nothing from it. Joe Gold, he gave me a complex. He used to call me the man with the New York tan. You know what I'm saying? He used to break my balls. So
Sure.
that's why I was trying to tan, to try to, what a New York tan. Those bulbs were dead. But I would be in there a long time trying to get tan. And he would freak out, banging on the door. It was him banging on the door. He would bang on the door and go, come on, with that fucking annoying voice he has. And then I would be like, all right, and then I'd get out of there and he'd complain, he'd go in there and I would go upstairs and I'd get wet, like wet paper towels. And I would throw it because there's the wall didn't go all the way up and I would throw them up over, slap them. Well, he'd be like, son of a bitch. He would get all freaked out because I would throw these wet, just a couple, but I would do it because he annoyed the shit out of me when I was
Did
in
he
there.
know it was you when you were throwing them?
No, I don't think
Yeah.
he knew who the hell it was. I finally
Sure,
got out, but he might have thought. But back then, I was just a guy in the gym. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, oh yeah, that's Gregg Valentino. Like they didn't
No,
know.
no, sure.
I
Sure.
was just like I trained in the gym. There's Arnold. Hey, there's Arnold right there. He's doing like the first time I walked in, he was doing cable rolls, but I saw him do everything. But he doesn't like, he didn't know who, like, it was like, hey, Gregg, like he didn't know
Sure,
me
sure,
like that.
sure.
I was just a guy. I would talk to him, but he didn't. It's just like anybody. If you went to a gym and you were training there every day, and there's a kid, the kid with the red shirt. I see him all the time. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, what's up? That's it. You know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
wasn't. I never trained with him or any of that stuff. I was just
Well, I saw pictures of you guys together.
yeah. I mean, I knew him. I would talk to him. He
Sure,
knows
sure. That's
now. I know
great.
him really well, but
Yeah,
he know. I'm not crazy about his politics, but he has
yeah, I hear
actually.
you.
He's a pretty good guy, though. To be honest with you, he's not a bad guy. Like if you know him, he's very friendly. Um, he's very charismatic, very witty. He's good to his friends, but he's also the kind of guy though that would screw his friend's wife if he thought she was hot and the friend would never find it. He's a little bit like that. So, but he's a good guy. I've had a good rapport with him.
Yeah, yeah. And I know once, so there was a story where you were, I think this was 1982. You were, I think you were, yeah, you were in New York and you were dating this gal and you walked like many blocks at night. You're heading, I think, Columbus Circle, going back to Grand Central Station. And this guy would pull up and say, hey, where can I get a little action? And he turned out to be like a serial killer, right?
I believe, yes. Oh my God, I forgot his name. He was
Richard Rogers.
Yeah, yes. What happened was I was walking not towards Columbus Circle. I was coming from where Columbus Circles. I was coming from 57, like around 57th Street, and I was walking on 8th Avenue. And I noticed he kept watching me. You know what I'm saying? Like I could notice this car. And then he would pull up alongside and ask me, do you want to ride? What are you doing? Let's go get some whores. I'll pay. All this shit. And I was like, no, I'm good. And he basically stalked me all
Yeah.
day. He kept pulling over and I kept going, dude, get, I don't want, no, I'm fine, get away. And to this day, I'll never forget his face. I'll never forget. He drove a big fucking car, but I can still see his face. And I was like, later on, it wasn't until years later that I saw his picture. And then I'm like, holy shit, that's the fucking guy that was following me in the car. You know what I'm saying? And he was known to get young guys and he would get them in his car and I guess he would hit that all locks and as soon as that happened, they were done.
And he was like a nurse or something. So he
was a male nurse and he would inject you and stuff like that. If you were in a car, he'd bang, like something like you see in a movie, He
Jeez.
would, but I knew he had sweat. I remember one point, when he was talking to me and the way he would look at me, come on, we'll get in the car. Come on, help me. We'll go get her. I'll pay. He kept telling me, I'll pay. We'll go get, where's the horse? He played stupid. Where are they? And I told him down by Port Authority. And that's before Port Authority was there. They were building it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's like on like 41st Street and 8th Avenue over that way. And they were just building it. And all the prostitutes used to walk around over there. And he'd tell me, come on, get in the car. I'll give you a ride. We'll go there together. I'm like, no.
He was just trying to get you in the car. He was trying to
he would have done anything to get me in that car.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you were walking down the street. He probably saw you. I think you said you were wearing blue jeans and you had like a black tank top on. So you must have looked really, really jacked. And he probably said, oh,
that's exactly what it was. I was really built. And back then, you're talking like that was 81, 82. And, back then, you didn't see guys built like that as much. And I was young. Right. You know what I mean? Right. I looked young too in the face. I looked younger. And he was older. He wasn't an old man, but he was a little bit older than me. And I can still see those he had glasses on when I saw him. You know what I mean? I've seen pictures of him with and without glasses. But he was wearing glasses when I saw him. And I just remember the way he would look at me, and he wouldn't stop. I'd go, and he'd pull back up and say to me, come on, man, you sure? Let's go. Come on. All right, how about I just give you a ride? Where you going? And I'm going to Port Authority. I'm getting trained, come on, I'll give you a ride. No, I don't want a ride. What are you doing? Get out of here. Yeah. After I already told him, the first time when he asked me about the prostitutes. So it was really strange. And I didn't know anything until years, not too long ago that I was looking at, and I saw this and I'm going, I know that fucking guy. Holy shit. That's the guy that was following me that day in the city. And he was known to do that. Pick guys right off the street. Boom, So,
yeah.
Good thing I was smart and it wasn't stupid. And,
sure.
Give me a ride to the port, not even to get horse, but at one point he knew that wasn't going to work. So he said, I'll give you a ride to the fucking train station. I'm like, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Good thing I didn't say, all right, give me a ride, because I'm walking from 57th Street to 42nd, and then 42nd to which is 3rd Avenue
Sure.
and 42nd. And I was on 8th Avenue and 57th. It's a hell of a walk,
Yeah, it's a long walk. I mean, I've never been to New York, but
Oh, trust me, it's a walk, you know what I mean? So I could have easily said, oh, you know what? Yeah, all right, I'll take a ride. Just drop me off at the train station. As soon as I got in the car, he would have hit all
sure.
locks,
Yeah.
and I would have been fucked.
So you know what? When you were like 9, there's like a 12-year-old kid. He beats you up, and
Oh
then
yeah.
you started growing. And by the time you were like 15, and I think you saw him, he was your bully. And didn't you go up and sock him? And then everybody.
Yeah, what the story is when I was a kid, I'm sorry I'm cursing. I'll try not to
No,
curse.
no, that's okay.
You know,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I was young, I was young. I was kind of like quiet, which is weird because I don't shut up now. But we were there was a circle of kids. We were all talking, and it was like a block and a half away from where I was. And he was older than me, and he was a bigger kid. He was just a moose. And he stuttered. Had a strong stutter, like I went like that. Like he would talk like that.
Oh,
And what happened was he was talking, and there was a bunch of kids that they were talking with, and I was right there. And another kid was talking to me kind of on the side a little bit, and he said something that had nothing to do with this kid. And I started laughing, and he thought I was laughing at him. I wasn't. I was laughing at this other kid, this kid named Billy Keeley. I'll never forget it. And he was saying something just, I don't even remember what the hell it was, but I laughed. And this big kid thought I was laughing at him.
mm,
So he jumped on top of me, started hitting me, punching me, but he was heavy too. Like, he wasn't fat, but he was a big kid. And like he knocked me to the ground and basically dropped on top of me with his knees, like boom, something like you see in wrestling. I remember knocked the breath out of me.
gee.
He was punching me in the face, and they had to pull him off me, the other kids, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I pissed in my pants. I actually peed in my pants, so I was humiliated. And then he stalked me. I'm going to kill you after school. Yeah, I'm going to fuck, I kill you after school. So we had because back then we didn't take the bus. The school was right where I lived. So we walked to school. So I would walk. I actually walked on a little highway just to get away so I wouldn't walk the back ways because he'd be waiting for me to beat me up again. And then finally, my father had to call his father. And my father was a tough guy. My father said to him, listen, don't make me come over there. You know what I mean? Because, then you're going to be in trouble, to the father.
Sure.
And it got squashed. The kid left me alone. Now, he was a year or two ahead of me in high school. So the next thing you know, we're in high school and we're playing high school football. And he was a backup quarterback, right? Now, I'm going on a team and, I was on a team already. And I never forgot what he did to me when we were kids. Now I'm already built. You know what I mean? I'm already jacked. I started boxing a little bit with Charlie Gasparino, Fox Business News. If any of you guys watch Fox Business News, Charles Gasparino, he's a senior. He's on, you see him on Cavuto all the time. He's my childhood friend. So he's
great.
Yeah, Charlie Gasparino is a hell of a boxer.
Is he related to Rich Gasparino?
No,
Or is
you're thinking of Rich Gaspari.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, if you watch Fox News, you'll see they always have on Charlie Gasparino. Anyway,
Okay.
so he's my childhood friend. So we box a little bit. So now I can really handle myself well. I'm not a 9-year-old kid anymore. I think I was either just turning 16. I was it was that summer. So because it was during the summer, during like we were playing football and everything. When I went to the next higher up in JV. So he was the quarterback and we were playing, and you're not supposed to, during practice, you're not supposed to hit. You know what I mean? You're supposed to just lightly hit, especially the quarterback. You're supposed to go in and just hit, you don't take him down because he's your quarterback, but we're practicing plays. And I was the linebacker, so I blitzed and I laid him out, right? Really hard. And he got up and he threw the ball at me. He said, fucking asshole, like that. And I said, da, 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 da. I'm sorry. Anybody out there that starts, I'm sorry. But you have to understand, I pissed my pants, and this kid was in my head. And to this day, I'll get to that in a second. So anyway, I was irate. I was like, fuck you. I was spitting at him and shit. I was nuts. I was crazy when I was young, And I wanted him really bad. Really, really bad. You have no idea. So After, we all went to the locker room and everything, and I told my friend, do me a favor, just make sure nobody jumps in. I'm going to beat the living shit out of him when he walks out, because there's a door where you can come outside, from the locker room. So I waited for him, and he came outside, and I said, "Yo, da 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 da," and he came at me, and I just fucking knocked him down. You know what I mean? And then I started beating the shit out of him, and he was trying to crawl away from me, and I was like kicking him and shit. I was insane. I know that sounds really, really.
Oh yeah, it was. You said. I think you said you gave him a beating like they did in the Godfather movie.
It was like that. He was trying to crawl away from me. You know what I mean? But my friend had everybody back, the other kids on the team. And I got thrown off the team for this. I wasn't allowed to play after that. But I had beat him so bad, you have no idea. I got on top of him at the end. And I was just, I spit. I'm sorry, guys. I know that doesn't sound nice. But you have to understand, I was a child who was bullied. I was a very timid child. I was bullied by quite a few people, but he was he was like the boogeyman to me, to the point where I was walking on a highway to go home instead of where I live, right the back way. I mean, I could be home in literally a minute and a half.
Sure.
But I chose to go home 15 minutes because I was I feared him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Now all of that came out, and I beat him to a pulp, and I did all these things to him, and I mocked him for stuttering, you stuttering moron, and I was doing those shit in his face. Then he finally pulled me off. So that was done. I got thrown off the football team, and I got suspended from school for like a week. My father was like, hey, well, you did what you had to do,
Sure.
To this day, I saw him in a Staples store, literally about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I saw him in Staples, and he's an old man now. You know what I mean? And I'm a lot older too, but he looks like shit. And I saw him, and he looked over at me, and he looked away, and then he looked again a little bit, like at the corner of his eye. And I stared at him, and my girlfriend's like, "What's the matter?" And she goes, "Do you know that guy?" And I said, "That's the guy that bullied me when I was young." And I said, I just felt like, because I've never gotten over that. He made me pee.
Sure.
I pissed in my pants in front of other children. And they were all like this. They all knew. I mean, I pissed in my.
Well, it's traumatizing, very traumatizing.
Right. It was very, very bad. And, even as an old man, I watched him walk out, and I little bits of me almost felt like, should I go outside and just say something to him? Like, yo, you still stuttering? I know that sounds bad. Please, if anybody out there is watching this and you stutter or so, I don't mean it like that. But what he did to me, I never, you could somebody, God forbid, which edit that word out. You could R somebody, you know what I mean? And that woman could kill the guy that did it, but 20 years later, she still can't get over that. He beat me when I was so bad and humiliated me to the point where my parents had to get involved. I pissed the pants. I never got over, and to this day, if I'm not going to beat him up again.
Sure.
But he said something to me. I can't guarantee I might not do it, because I still have, even though I redeemed myself with him, he still violated me. You understand?
Sure.
I feel like somebody that was, Ard. You know what I mean? I just, I still see him in my head, like just the way he knew when he saw me in Staples. I guess he knew, because the way I was looking at him like a dog. You know what I mean? I was just staring at him. And, not with an angry face, but just staring at him. And he knew, and he walked out. But I was ready to, I wanted to say something to him, because I can't.
Sure. He knew you recognized him, and he probably.
He recognized me.
He was probably scared you were going to go do something to him.
He knew now.
Or wait for him outside.
He was my boogeyman. Do you have to, it's almost like a guy who's, had a bad stepfather that beat him up every day of his life. And even now that you're an adult and you see that guy, you want to, I still want to kill him. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't good enough for me that I beat him already. I just, I don't like to get like that. And I'm not like that, but it's just that's the boogie. That was my boogeyman.
Sure. I was bullied too when I was a kid, because I was a small kid. I was like one of the shortest kids in my class. I'm like 5'6", 175, kind of like you. I have the small hips, but I went to Catholic school for 8 years, and there was a couple of the bully kids would always, bug me and punch me. And I did see one of those guys after 30 years. And it was kind of nice. I was like, man, what's he going to do to me? Because we were all trying to meet up. And then I heard this other guy was going to be there. And I'm like, oh, man, he punched me too. Something's going to happen. And I was kind of afraid to go. But when I went there, and I see them, and we're all in our 50s. They're like, "Hey, what's up?" And then like I kind of forgot that. And then the one guy, his name was Brian Catario. He used to beat people up. He told my wife, he goes, "You know what?" He goes, "This guy right here used to be my punching bag, like a pin cushion." He goes, "But I wouldn't mess with him now." And I thought that was kind of a nice thing to hear.
Good. Good. I'm glad he taught that. I'm glad he taught. You know, Joe Rogan told a story where I can't remember it. I think he said he was with a friend somewhere and they were up, they saw the guy was, oh shit, I don't remember. Something to do with like a friend and they were on like a hill or something. And there was a bunch of people partying down at the, down in like in a grass or something. And he said his friend all of a sudden got like stone cold. And he said to his friend, "What's the matter?" And he goes, "That guy down there used to be my bully when I was a kid, you know what I mean? And I'm afraid to go down there." And he's like, "But you're an adult now. That was like 30 years ago." And he goes, "You don't understand when something like that happens." Like I've seen TV shows about this where they like, like talk shows where they bring out somebody like, we're going to, this is Joe from, and he's going to confront his bully today from 25, 30 years ago. And here comes, bring out Ed. And Ed comes out. And he's like, "You bullied me." And the guy, sometimes the bully says, "Listen, I'm really sorry, whatever I did, but I don't even remember you." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the kid that got bullied never forgets. You
sure,
understand?
sure, that's
So
true.
you may have said, as it, what's funny that we say this because there's a girl that on Facebook that was I grew up with, right? And we were on somebody died that I went to high school with, right? And I posted on there, "Sorry, I loved him. He was a great guy, blah, 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 blah." And this girl chimed in and said, "Gregg Valentino, I have to ask you, when we were in Mr. Moskowitz's class, which was an art class in 7th grade or 8th grade, she goes, 'You laughed at me. Why were you laughing at me?'" And I'm like, now I remember this girl very well. I remember her, but I don't remember laughing. And she said, "You and this other guy," his name was Joe Russell. She goes, "You and Joe Russell were laughing." And I said, "Listen to me. I'm sorry if you think we were laughing at you, but I think I was laughing at something that he said that had nothing to do with you, but you." So to her, she never forgot. She thought I was laughing at her.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't remember the actual thing, but I never remember laughing at her for whatever I don't know what it was. But she actually brought that up. So maybe to her, I was a bully, but I never say anything. I got along with her even in high school. We never talked, but we were in school together. There's never
Yeah.
problems, or I never thought of her in a bad way or anything. And
Well, it
then,
was nice that you actually said that to her because it probably maybe could have gave her a little closure. I don't know.
yeah, I
Like,
did. I
oh,
said,
he
"Listen,
wasn't
I'm
laughing at
sorry
me.
if
Yeah,
you feel that way. I'm really sorry." But I
yeah,
remember, I just said, I remember Joe Russell said something to make me laugh, but I don't really remember that. But I
sure.
know I wasn't laughing at her. Sometimes just like I didn't laugh at that guy. I wasn't laughing at him talking. He was in a circle of guys, and there was like 2 or 3 other guys right here outside the circle. And we were talking. We were all friends, but we were talking, and this kid Billy said something to make me laugh, and he came out of that circle, thought I was laughing at him. You know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it happened. But when this girl, her name was Valerie, I remember when she said that. This is only 2, 3 years ago, because we're all commenting on somebody in our class that died on Facebook. You got these,
Hmm.
"Oh, Joe Matarazzo died." And when I commented on there for her to say, "Hey, I have to ask you a question," back in Mr. Moskowitz's class, and it's just 7th or 8th grade. I can't remember which, Mr. Moskowitz was a middle school art teacher. And I'm like, "What?" Like, Valerie, I never had any sore feelings towards you, any bad feelings towards you. Like, I don't, well, why would you say that? Like, in my brain, I'm thinking, "Holy shit, where is she coming from?" I never laughed at her. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
maybe we were laughing at something else. So I just said whatever, it was Joe. Oh, yeah, Joe said something, but it wasn't about you. I would never laugh at you. I never had a problem with you. I was like, "Holy shit."
yeah.
But
So
that
I
just goes
want
to
to
show
go.
you, whatever happens to you when you're young affects what happens when
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no,
Like I
definitely.
can't stand if I see somebody bullying somebody now, forget it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, it's like it gives you PTSD.
Yes. Yep.
When you were younger and you started working out and you realized, wow, I'm actually getting muscles, and then the momentum was going. You kept a journal, and every day you would write down the workout you did, and then you would write out how you felt.
Yes.
So,
Wow.
can you explain a little of that?
How do you, I'll tell you, John, you're shocking because I don't remember telling everybody this. But yes, I'll show you something right now. Right here. Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Wait, hold on. Here we go. Let me just put this right here. Here. Now, let me show you something, okay? I keep a journal of everything I do. I keep a journal. Right now, I haven't been doing the eating thing as much, but I've throughout when I was bodybuilding, and especially if I ate a jelly bean, one jelly bean, let's say, I'm making an example. I don't really like jelly beans, but if I ate a jelly bean, I would write it down. I ate one jelly bean at 4:37. You know, for instance, now see this? This is today, right here. Okay,
Wow.
this is my this right here is my my blood. Okay, I take everything with my blood. Now look, this is the last page, ironically. This is the last page in this book. But I keep a notebook. I'll show you. Hold on. I keep a notebook, right? Of every day. Of every day. For instance, what day is this here? Okay, this is April 7th, Sunday, 2024. And it has the times and blood, all the blood work I do, and the pills that I take. My metformin, all of that stuff. If I have to take insulin, let me see. Oh, here, I'll show you something. Watch. Let me show you something. Hold on.
Of course.
Okay, this is. Hold on. Let me wait. What was the day we were out there? Oh, it's June. Okay, let me go to June. Ready? Hold on. I'll show you something right now. I'll show you. Okay. Like every day. I'm just showing every day. Every day. I keep a journal every day. My pills. I know everything. All right, hold on. I'm getting into something here. Okay. Where is it here? What was the day we were out there? June. Okay, because I'm going to show you. It was okay. Because when I was with Lee Priest, he drove me crazy. Hold on, I'll show you. June. Okay. When did I fly out there? Because I'm going to show you. You know, they always break my chops, right? June 17th, Monday. Hold on. June 18th, Tuesday. Okay, I think we went out there on June 19th, right? Was it 19th? Okay. June 20th. This is when we were out in okay, right here. I don't know if you can see all this. This is when I was out with Lee Priest, and he had me eating so much shit, right? Look at all these, all the yellow is blood. Yellow is blood. These are all blood tests, okay? For instance, my blood was 165 right here, okay? Here, my blood was 191, blood sugar. Here, my blood was 112. Here, 222.
Wow.
So I had to take insulin, okay?
Oh,
Had to
5
take
minutes
8
late.
IUs of insulin, right? This is all when I was Lee Priest, because he kept making me eat all this shit when I was with him. Right? All these days here. Even here, I had to take insulin. Okay, this is June 20th when I was out there with him. June 21st, we were out in Georgia. Not Georgia, Jesus. Alabama. Right. And this is when they make the jokes about me with the look in the airport. See, this says airport right there. See,
Right.
Airport? Okay. Yep. Here in the airport, I had to take insulin because I had eaten twice. I had to take insulin. I had to take 6 IUs because my blood was high. I woke up with it low, 108. But then because I eat with him, with Lee Priest, he had me eating all this shit out there. You know, look, even here, my blood was well, he was in the 140s, but I had to take 6 IUs of insulin.
Wow.
Right. Because I'm with Lee. This was June 22nd, Sunday, when we were out there together. All the yellow is blood. The yellow.
So when you're saying blood, are you talking about when you prick your finger and then you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. My dad, he was type 1 diabetic. He actually passed away. He was only 41.
Oh boy, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, that's okay. I don't have it though. My sister.
My dad was type 1 diabetic too. But listen, the point I'm trying to make is this is all every day of my life, every day. I have everything written down, catalog. The yellow's blood. If I had to take insulin, I tell you, I took the insulin. I tell you every pill I've taken in there. And the reason why I showed you that with the June is because when they keep saying, the gallbladder, it's not the gallbladder. It was the sugar, the blood sugar would go high, really high, because I was with Lee and we'd be eating constantly and a lot. And, and then, I didn't want to eat like some of the shit that they were eating. But, you know, David would be like, come on, let's go. So Lee's like, are you in the fucking gallbladder? Just eat the goddamn bread, you know? And I'm like, no, it's not the gallbladder. It's the sugar. You're killing me with the sugar. I have fucking diabetes. I got to watch what I do.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to show you about that notebook is, even you see it sort today, I write down everything I do.
That's amazing.
I write down, and I've been doing that since the 70s.
So what's cool about that?
Lots of books of me.
Yeah. If you had to go to a doctor visit and you brought some of those books,
oh yeah,
you could answer every question that
any question. Like, if he said to me, "What did you eat on April 6th, 2020?" I could tell you what I ate, what I took, which vitamins I took, how much insulin I took. If I usually don't take insulin unless my sugar hits 200 or so.
Sure.
I usually take metformin and glimepiride, and I'll take a berberine with it. But, I have to take it 4 times a day. The thing is, I have every one of them written down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see, I like, here's the airport thing. Like, I've taken here metformin. The pen is that's the metformin and the glimepiride. Well, that's insulin. Here's another metformin, I took it again. See, I took it like this day. I had to take it 5 times a day. Okay.
Wow.
I was in the airport. He says airport. This is in the airport. But these are all the blood tests I had to take because my blood was whacked.
Man.
My blood was whacked. I normally don't have to do that. Look, when I was with him, the day that we were all out there, look at how many blood tests I had to take. That's blood. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 blood tests. All those yellow lines are different blood tests. Okay.
In one day.
One day. I had to prick my fingers 8 fucking times because I knew my sugar.
Oh.
Okay, now I know some people are like, why don't you just get the Dexatron, whatever that fucking thing is that you stick on your tricep? People don't realize that, first of all, I'm a perfectionist and I'm a nut. If I'm supposed to take my supplement or vitamin or whatever, I take it. And I don't take supplements for bodybuilding. That's done. No. I take supplements to help me live longer. I take supplements to help me digest. I help take supplements for everything. You know what I mean? Like mostly liver stuff, Liver 52, NAC. I'm looking at it over here. Milk thistle, like I take methylized vitamins, like, methylfolate, because I have, blood in my family's not great. So I take methylfolate for the blood. I take the methyl B12, methyl B complex. Everything's methylated. And I'm a stickler for that. And I don't get, I get the best that you can get. So I don't take vitamins and supplements for bodybuilding. I take vitamins and supplements that help my life for liver, kidney function, all that stuff. That's what I do. And
I know you like the apple cider vinegar. You just take a shot of it straight.
It's funny. I used to drive Joe Pietaro crazy because we would do a thing, and I take a bottle of apple cider vinegar, like this, right? But then it started I felt like I was starting to get more acidic. So I have to be careful with that. You know what I mean? I more or less right now try to take things that like, I take the Fiberlize with Dave. Dave gives me the Fiberlize. I take that. I do take probiotics.
And that's great stuff, by the way.
Yeah, it is very
Fiberlize.
Good. You have to take care of your stomach.
Yeah.
I think I was getting too acidic because, see, the average person eats, we as a bodybuilder, we eat a lot of fat and protein, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like the average person eats a lot of carbs and other shit. So they get acid. The acid, carbohydrates more of an alkaline, enzyme that breaks them down. But the problem is when you eat a lot of protein and a lot of fats, that you get acid that breaks that down, right? And I think that your stomach anticipates you constantly eating, so it starts to produce more acid, So I feel that it's with bodybuilders, because I do take digestive enzymes at times, when I feel like I need it, but I have to, be careful, because, without the gallbladder, it's just everything's a little strange with that. But I worry about the stomach. The stomach is the thing you got to worry about. They always say that's the second brain. That's where your body's immune system is, the liver and the kidneys. So you got to worry about the liver, especially if, I'm on TRT. And when you eat a lot of fats and proteins and stuff, that's tough on the liver. People don't realize that, your liver can take bacon and turn it into sugar. They think it's just carbohydrates turn into sugar. But if you need sugar, like people that eat just carnivore, you say, well, how do they do that though? How can somebody eat just carnivore with zero carbohydrates, just fat and protein? Excuse me. How do they eat that? And still have like blood sugar in them and everything, because the body will make it. The liver is an amazing organ, it
Yeah.
can, but if you eat too much shit and you put too much strain on the liver, you're gonna get liver cirrhosis. I already have a trouble because what happened with me is that I had two stones that came out of my gallbladder and went down in my bile duct, and it
Mm.
backed up and went into my liver and went into
Wow.
my pancreas. So I have Waldorf
Oh,
necrosis in my pancreas, a piece of Waldorf necrosis, and it gave me a fatty liver because it swelled. My liver was so swollen that if I laid down on a bench, I could actually feel it. Like I can actually feel it
wow.
fall in there. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
can almost like you're laying on a fucking, excuse me, I keep cursing, I'm sorry. You're laying on a baseball or something, and I could feel
Sure.
it. And a gallbladder too. So they couldn't take out the gallbladder right away. They had to let it calm down from I had to have what's called an ERCP. That put me in a hospital for 2 weeks.
Wow.
I almost died. I didn't know. I waited too long. Like Big Lenny, my skin was like the color of a banana and my eyes were bright yellow. You know
Wow.
what I mean? And I thought, being a bodybuilder, fine. I have maybe SIBO or something. No, it was stones, and that was some bad. Let me talk about
Yeah. Yeah.
pain. That was like you were shot in the stomach with a cannonball. That's some pain, man. And pancreatitis, if you ever had, I had pancreatitis because of all of that. So they had to wait. And so I didn't work out or I was in a hospital for 2 weeks. I didn't eat anything, they were having me on like broth and, and like Jello, so that's why when I was in Alabama, I was like 20 something pounds down because I hadn't eaten. I was in a hospital. I came out of hospital. I still look jacked, but that's because I built a foundation 23 years natural,
Sure.
but I
Sure.
wasn't jacked at all. I was, I felt like I was small.
Hey, I have a fun fact about you. You're
Go ahead.
probably one of the only Italians I ever met that doesn't like garlic,
No, hate garlic.
right?
Hate,
And then I don't
I
even think you like onions that much either.
don't eat onions. I don't eat garlic, and I don't like either one. And here's another fact of Italian is I don't like tomatoes either. I don't. I'll eat
Oh,
tomato sauce. I like the gravy.
mm,
We call it gravy over here, because that's the New York, old New York Italians call it gravy. I don't like, like I can eat, I like the gravy, spaghetti sauce, but I can't eat raw tomatoes. Like I can't have a slice of tomato on my sandwich.
sure.
I don't like that at all. I know
Yep.
that's rare. Plus, I'm a really bleached Italian. I don't like
Yeah, I
all.
know. I was going to say you call yourself a bleached Italian.
Yeah, I do. I love Italian food, but I'm, I am a bleached person. I eat the same foods all the time. I'm not a variety guy. Like, oh, let's try something different. I don't really like that. That's just me, though. My father was like that. My father was a meat and potatoes kind of guy. My father lived in Italy and everything for a little bit, and he still was very bleached Italian. He like, spaghetti and meatballs. We're good with that. We don't need all that
Mm.
calamari or any of that scungili. I don't need any of that. I don't like eggplant, parmesan. I don't like any of that
I
stuff.
don't like eggplant. And I ate so much lasagna growing up that I don't even eat. I haven't ate lasagna in 30 years. I don't even want any
That's
lasagna.
good. That's my girlfriend's favorite food. Well,
Oh.
Spanish food.
Hey,
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
good.
love though? Those cookies that you came up with. I actually just bought some more stuff so I could make some.
Oh, those, yeah, yeah, yeah. They came out
Yes.
pretty good. Yeah, they were pretty good. That's not my recipe. I think I got that. I might have modified it. I don't even remember now. I got that off of somebody else. But yeah, they
Yeah.
were good. They were
But
definitely.
but it's great. And then but like you were saying that the you're not using regular flour, so it has to sit for like an hour before you touch it. And then it was
Yes,
funny. You said, "Don't be a gavone and eat one of these cookies. Let it sit." I thought that
you
was
have to let it sit and like harden up on its own. Like otherwise, it's like goo. You know what I mean?
sure, sure.
Yeah, you know, I'm very particular about stuff, even with junk food. I'm not a junk food guy. Like, I like my sweets just like anybody else does, but not my, like, I'm very picky. I I'm not a candy bar guy. I do like
No,
protein bars, you know what I mean? Like, I like one bars and some Quest bars, but I'm picky about them. I gotta have the same flavor. I don't like new flavors. I don't like jelly donut or fucking one of those kind of things.
sure, sure.
I like,
No,
chocolate and chocolate chip or something like that. Like chocolate chip cookie dough for Quest bar and for one bar. But I don't really like candy bars. If I was to eat a
Yeah,
regular candy bar, if you said to me you can only eat one regular candy bar, I guess it would be maybe a Baby Ruth bar. But other than that, like I don't like the
sure.
I don't crave that. Like if I never
No,
eat,
me neither. Yeah, I
no,
quit eating sugar almost over a year and a half ago, and I
even
lost weight and everything, and I feel much better.
even fake like what I mean, okay, even like diet stuff. Like I only like if you said to me junk foods, obviously ice cream. Who doesn't like ice cream? Ice cream, a chocolate chip cookie, or a brownie. Other than that, there's nothing else. Like, I don't like pastries. I'm an Italian who doesn't really, cannolis. I'm not really like, no. You know what I mean? Like, I can't eat, like, my girlfriend loves all that shit. I don't like pastries. I don't like donuts. I'm not really
Mhm.
one of those kind of people. I'm a very bleached guy. I eat the same shit. I don't eat brownies and I don't eat chocolate chip cookies. I do eat the Quest chocolate chip cookie. Try them. They're pretty, have you ever tried a Quest? The blue,
Yeah, I did years ago.
but there's a blue label, and it's just not the chocolate. Too much chocolate, no good.
Yeah,
The regular blue label Quest chocolate chip cookie. Next time you try one. I
I
also
will.
I like to put them in a refrigerator because I like them cold a little bit. That's the
Sure,
way I am. Okay, but they're pretty good. You know what I mean? The Quest uh like peanut butter Reese's tastes like real Reese's peanut butter cup. If you put it in the refrigerator, it's pretty nice. But I don't crave that shit. The Quest
sure,
good. I'm just really I like steak and burger shit like that. That's my.
sure. So the belt that I got from you that you
Oh
signed,
yes. Oh
so
my
it's
God.
you signed it and you wrote 1978. So I'm assuming that was the belt you had like in 1978,
Oh,
obviously.
I bought that belt. Oh God. No, I bought that belt. When did the New Orleans? I think I had that belt in 1976, 1975, because
Wow.
when I joined the Nautilus gym,
Mhm.
1978, I stepped on stage. So that's, when I really started getting serious is 78, because I used to do a little bit of boxing. Like I said, when I was 16 though. But the thing yes, that was my baby, that belt. It was too big for me. I used to have to stick stuff in it,
Wow.
bunch up my shit. But I loved that was my belt. I don't even know if they make that like that kind of like the leather ones today are tan and everything. That
Sure.
that thing was I love that belt.
So I made a special case for it. I don't know if you saw it, but
I think yeah, my girlfriend shows me some. She's the one who sells all this shit. Sometimes I don't even know she sold it. Like I think she sold my arm blaster that I had too.
oh wow, yeah.
Did you?
But
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody bought that too. I don't know what the hell. She sells all this shit of mine. I don't know. But
well,
I
now I do
love
have the
that belt.
famous TLC shirt, and I'm going to do a whole separate thing
Oh
with you
yes,
about that. Today, I just wanted to talk about the young years, the belt, 1978, you
yes,
know,
yes.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, the belt was my baby. Because I used to squat then. But when I worked when I joined the first year, remember I used to train at home with that bench I showed you and just like plastic weights, and I built a hell of a build.
Man,
Excuse me, with just plastic weights. And then
sure.
I joined the Nautilus gym. It was the first gym around. There's no gyms around here. There was a White Plains YMCA. When you hear me talk about, sometimes I used to go there, but just in a blue moon. I was only 15 years old. So I had to have an older guy that I know that worked out with me sometimes. He would drive us there, but it wasn't all the time. And that's where I met Charlie Arms, the big guy that you always hear us talk about and everything. But Mike Torsha, a few of the old school guys. What's the name? Ron Tufel, I've seen there. Who's passed away. But anyway, so when I joined this gym, I was like, I got to get a weightlifting belt. You know what I mean? Because I really want. And I worked out on Nautilus, and this guy's name was Bob Bath, and he was trained by Arthur Jones. And this is
Hmm.
when Nautilus first really started getting out there with
Yeah,
the chain driven
yeah,
machine.
yeah,
Oh God, those are my favorite, favorite, favorite. I love the chain driven Nautilus, the first generation, second generation. Oh my God, I love those machines. If I had enough, I had them in my gym. If I had enough money, I would go out and buy a whole shitload of them and put them in my basement here. I love those are my favorite machines. But that guy
yeah.
put me through workouts. one set, he did the Arthur Jones because he was trained by Arthur Jones. So
Mhm.
he would put you through one set, and I'm telling you, you would want to vomit. One set would last 3, 4, 5 minutes. It was unbelievable. One set to failure, to ultimate failure, to
Mhm.
the point where you could not move at all anymore. And he would crack that whip and pull a pin and pop it in, make you continue, stop, the pull over, all that stuff. Then you drop it, you pull down, and it was just one set. And my God, would that kill you?
I
Most people
remember,
couldn't do it.
yeah, I remember John Romano talking how he worked out like that once, and he said it was so painful. He said it hurt more than getting in a motorcycle accident. I remember he said that because
Yes, John.
I ride a motorcycle. I have a couple Harleys. I know he's into bikes too.
Oh yeah, he builds them.
Yeah,
That guy has a talent to do a lot of stuff. I got to be
sure.
honest with you. He has a talent. Um, he can build a house. That guy. You have to have that in your hands. My
Yeah.
parents were both artists. That's what they did for a living. It wasn't a hobby. That's how my father built his house and everything. But you have to have that in your hands. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm a fairly good artist, but nothing like my father was. I would say I can do a portrait, but I can't do like I can do like my father could do. It's very hard, excuse me, to do like sometimes when I cough, I always make a joke, oh corona. But I have ever since I got the throat cancer, I'm missing all kinds of muscles in my throat. So sometimes I'm fine. Just that when you swallow your own saliva, sometimes you get a little but my father, was commercial artist, was an illustrator, did all of that, a cartoonist first.
Wow.
This is the 1950s. In the 50s,
Nice.
cartoonist, then he became an illustrator, then he went into commercial art and was a graphic, did all, he made both. Uh, One day when I'll pull some shit out for you, I'll show you. He did the Leah Perrin steak sauce label, and he did the A1 steak sauce, and they're not even
No
really
way.
rivals. Yes,
That's your dad's artwork, the A1?
yes, yep. I can show you. We have to. Where is it? I'd have to go in the back room.
We could do that another time.
I can pull out the originals, the big like this, like it's on it. My father was a very, he was famous commercial artist. He used to do album covers, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah,
Blood, Sweat, and
band.
Tears from the 60s.
Yeah.
He used to do, there's a very Italian singer, Jimmy Roselli. That was my father's buddy. He did his album covers.
Wow.
You don't realize that like something stupid like this. This is just right? This is polar, this is diet birch beer. Now, which is root beer. It's diet. Now, something stupid like this. Somebody put this together. This doesn't happen, man. This is simple.
Sure.
This is simple.
Yeah.
Somebody had to say, let's put a big P here, and then we'll do lines over here because this is the diet version. The non-diet version doesn't have these. I don't know if you see there's lines, right?
I do. Yeah, yeah.
Now, there's a bear here. So polar bear, right? Somebody had to design it. Should we put the bear here? Should we put it here? Should we put a big P here? Maybe we should put the P over here. My father used to design labels. Like my father did, excuse me, Shenley Whiskies, Persona razor blades, John Deere tractors. He did Playtex stockings. He did Clark's Tea-Berry gum. I don't know if you remember that gum. That's old school gum. He did Camel cigarettes. Now, wait a minute. Camel cigarettes has been around forever, but they've changed. The label has been redone like 7 or 8 times. And my father did one of those 7 or 8. He did one of the for Camel cigarettes. I got to dig out my father's resume. If you saw it, you'd be like, holy shit. My father was a very famous artist. But yeah, and he was a master calligrapher. Now, his art today, if he was, he's been dead a long time. But if him and my mother, but it took him like 30 years. But the thing is, if my father was alive today, was still doing art, his art today, like they hire, like you can do this on a computer. You can make this.
Sure.
You might have done it on a computer. But in the old days, all those old school products, somebody had to do them, and he was a master calligrapher. Today, his lettering was his thing, But today you can just do that all on a computer and design.
Yeah. So he was branding. He was making like brands for companies.
That's what he did. That was his thing. The companies would come to him. He would design their brands, their logos, but he would deal with like products. They would come to him with a product, and then we would get cases of this product. I remember getting cases of like Clark gum, Clark's Tea Berry Gum. I don't know if you remember. It's still around. But you know, it's just we would get all this shit. He did Post cereals. He did Post cereals. He did they used to have like these little comic book strips. We have them in the back. I'll have to show you when we're doing another show. Something. I'll get stuff together and I'll hold it up. And he would do sometimes like they would giving out these little comic book strips and stuff. He did the whole comic books that would come inside the cereal. He would collect a series of. You're talking in the 1960s and 70s. You know what I mean? A long time ago. He did all these things, and we would get that shit sent to the house here. You know, we would get all this shit. It was crazy. He did all this. I'm trying to think of I can't remember them all, but a lot, you know.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
But you have to have that in your hands, you know. He was an all-around artist. He could do, you know, like I can, if you gave me like a picture of somebody, I can possibly draw it with a pencil and do pretty freaking good. But he like I don't have I can't come up with a cartoon. Like I can't draw cartoon characters. I'm not good with that. He could do any of it. It's almost like a stand-up comic is not always funny in movies, and you know what I mean? Like there are different kinds of comedy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what I mean, you know? Like George Carlin make you laugh your ass off watching him, but if you watched, you know, in a movie, he wasn't like as funny, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
You know, so it's just each guy, you know, it's different. Just like me, I used to write the columns for Muscular Development.
Yeah.
I wasn't a good writer. I was a good storyteller. I'm a terrible writer. I write in all caps. You know what I mean? Even when I wrote the book, I wrote it in all caps. I had to have another writer convert it onto, you know what I mean? Because I can't
Sure.
write. Terrible. I'm terrible.
Sure.
Like, Lucius, I got to ask her how to spell and shit, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm not the best writer. Madonna once said, she goes, I'm not no classical singer. I don't have the greatest voice, but I know how to push people's buttons and give them what they want. Like her performing and, you know, the songs that she would put out there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it's not like classical music or something.
Sure. Yep.
You didn't have like Whitney Houston or something, you know?
Yeah. Trying to think. I guess those were most of the notes I had.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, I was lucky enough to train in an era where, you know, Gold's Gym, you know, and World's Gym. I would go to World's Gym in the morning and then Gold's Gym in the afternoon. I was a gymmer. I just sat there and would train all day, all night, you know. I would throw bananas, believe it or not. Bananas, and I would throw sometimes rolls, bread rolls, you know, like a roll, like a Kaiser roll or Italian, you know, baguette.
Yeah.
I would put it in my gym bag, so I'd have something like carbohydrate-wise. I would eat it throughout work because I'd be in the gym for 3-4 hours.
Wow, yeah.
I know that sounds insane, but you know, but it was the greatest time because I got to see the Barbarian Brothers. I got to know all these people, and I got to see them train. And I'm in that famous picture. You saw it, right? Joe Zapata put it up, or do you want me to?
Which one? You with the Barbarian Brothers?
No, I got that. I get the one. There's a million. There's me with Samir and stuff. Way before Samir was Mr. Olympia. No, it's a picture. It's called an iconic photo of Gold's Gym. It's where they went in the gym and they took a picture of everybody in the gym. I believe it was 81 or 82. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, and you're way over there on the.
Yes, I'm the first guy from the left to right. And then there's Samir Banu. Samir Banu's in there. I mean, both the Mensa brothers are in there. Andreas Cahlin's in there. I mean, I think Ferrigno's in the back. I mean, you have Rod Kuntz, who was a natural, Mr. Urca. You had Roger Callard was in there. Casey Viator was there. Oh my God, there was so many. Chris Dickerson was there. Tom Platz was in the back. There were so many famous pro bodybuilders in that picture. And wow. I'm in the very first row. I had
way on the left, right? On the left. Yeah, I remember.
Excuse me. I was wearing a gray Gold's Gym jacket with black stripes on the side. And that's me, the very first one, you know. So
oh, that's so cool.
But I mean, that's an iconic picture. That's Gold's Gym. When these guys, Bob Paris was in the picture. Mike Christian was in that too. I mean, look at the names I'm naming. These are all old school guys, you know, from way back, you know. And I've met John Grimek. I'll send you pictures of me with John Grimek. I've met Vince Gironda. I've met Grimek was a freaking great guy. What a humble, nice guy. Steve Reeves, he was.
And I know that as far as John Grimek, I know that you liken your ability to get really muscular, just like John Grimek. You said that you John like Grimek him.
I related to John Grimek because John Grimek was naturally built even as a kid, and he built a hell of his physique with a lot of muscle back in an era where guys didn't even, remember guys would take the iron shoe and that had the
Yes.
dumbbell through it, and
Yeah,
they'd
yeah.
hold the pole and they'd
I have a
stand.
pair of those.
Right. That's how they did. That's how they did their
Yeah,
workouts.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Some guys didn't even squat yet. They would They would stand and hold a pole, and then they extend their leg out. And that was their leg extension. They would actually lift the dumbbell shoe, and it's just crazy. So, but I can relate to John Grimek. I mean, he's just basically barbells and dumbbells, and how he got that physique.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Met them all. I met Dave Draper. He was weird. Larry Scott. I did not like Harold Poole. I actually I met him a few times. I actually walked into him once. I was talking to somebody, I turned and I walked right into him. And I thought he was going to actually hit me. You know what I mean? He was really nasty. Harold Poole. I met him all, like a lot of the old guys. I got pictures of me with Dan Lurie. Like all these like icons.
Man, that's great.
And to be able to say like I was around these guys, is just like it's I'm lucky enough to have been in that era. A lot of the
for
you have
sure.
on the wall behind you. I mean, and I could show you pictures. There I am with them. It was just great. It was a great time.
That is so cool.
And seeing him in a gym and just being around basic, like I love your gym that I see in the back. That I respect that kind of stuff because that's old school. I don't like all these funky new stuff.
No. And thanks for helping me. I was trying to help this gym called Stern's Gym. They've been around for 78 years, but they closed anyways. And you were right. No one wants to pay $50 a month to go in some old-fashioned gym when you can go pay $10 or $20 a month, and there's music and there's girls walking around and everything's shiny and chrome. And I remember you said that, and you're right.
It's a shame. You told me that somebody was going to bail him out, but still, they would lose their money. You know what it is too? He had to go upstairs too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It was up the steps, and it's tough. You know what I mean? You know what it is today? Hardcore guys. I owned a gym. I owned 3 gyms in my day, but I always had trouble with the bodybuilders. Dude, I don't get paid till a week from next Friday. Can I hit you up then? And then next week from next Friday comes and I'm like, yo, bro, membership, oh yeah. Can I need another week before you know it. Like they're the worst to get money from. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm sorry to hear that gym closed.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I guess I don't know how much. We've been on the phone or the computer a while. I don't know how much memory is in this computer. My wife thinks I should wrap it up because I could talk all night.
But
too.
you guys can continue.
We can continue another time.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. We can do a part 2, part 3.
Sure.
I don't shut up. The wife's probably like, holy God, he's got a foul mouth and he doesn't shut up.
Sorry. No, she likes you.
I'm a guinea from New York. We don't, we got a foul mouth. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm saying things.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. You can't face me. I grew up around sailors my whole life.
Okay, yes, well, San Diego, a lot of sailors. Hey, I know that you used to love to eat, like the St. Gennaro would come to New York, and they have peppers and sausage sandwich.
Jimmy the Bull, Jimmy Pelleccia, a legend. I can get him to do your show too if you ever want. Jimmy Pelleccia and I, man, forget about it. Oh boy, that's our thing. Sausage and peppers. I mean, what Italian? No New York Italian. It was one thing, but in New York, Italians have a whole
totally different. It's totally
what I mean? We have a totally different lingo, the whole thing, the way we talk and the way we think, and but Jimmy the Bull's a character. I've been friends with him since 1991. Jimmy Pelleccia.
Yeah, he's a great guy. As a matter of fact, I sent him a picture. I said, "Hey, Jimmy, here's Gregg's belt, and I'm building this box, and it's going to be painted green, white, and red. I'm going to put gold around the thing and this and that." And I showed it to him, and he goes, "Oh, that's really cool." He saw it, and then I said, "But Gregg hasn't seen it yet." And he goes, "Oh no, hey, I won't say a word." It was great. It was like a year ago.
If you ever need him or want him to do anything for you too, I can hook you up with him. He's great. Even Romano, I can get you John Romano too. We're all old school guys.
Yeah. Okay.
We're all old school. So,
sure.
I can hook you up, and they, I talk more than they do, but I'm sorry.
No, that's great. I'm happy we got to have this nice conversation.
Yeah, I don't shut up. Sorry, but
all right, Gregg.
All right, thank you so much, Johnny,
Of course,
Johnny.
Yeah, he
Thank
said
you.
thanks.
I'll
Please
see
tell
you.
Lucia we said hello.
Yes, I certainly will. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
We'll do more again. I'll show you some cool stuff and everything.
Oh, I'd love to see. Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Greg.
you. God
Okay.
bless.
God bless you too.